The Mask by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, 1806 to 1861. I have a smiling face, she said. I have a jest for all I meet. I have a garland for my head, and all its flowers are sweet. And so you call me gay, she said. Grief taught to me this smile, she said, and wrong did teach this jesting bold. These flowers were plucked from garden bed, while a death-chime was tolled. And what now will you say, she said. Behind no prison-grate, she said, which slurs the sunshine half a mile, live captives so uncomforted as souls behind a smile. God's pity, let us pray, she said. I know my face is bright, she said, such brightness dying suns diffuse. I bear upon my forehead shed the sign of what I lose, the ending of my day, she said. If I dared leave this smile, she said, and take a moan upon my mouth, and tie a cypress round my head, and let my tears run smooth, it were the happier way, she said. And since that must not be, she said, I fain your bitter world would leave. How calmly, calmly smile the dead, who do not therefore grieve. The yea of heaven is yea, she said. But in your bitter world, she said, face joy's a costly mask to wear. 'Tis bought with pangs long nourished, and rounded to despair. Grief's earnest makes life's play, she said. Ye weep for those who weep, she said. Ah, fools, I bid you pass them by. Go weep for those whose hearts have bled, what time their eyes were dry. Whom sadder can I say, she said. Okay, this is a poem by Elizabeth Browning. She is an English poet of the Romantic movement. She came from County Durham, just south of the city of Durham, and she came from a wealthy family that had plantations in Jamaica and had investments in the America and had them for over 200 years. So they were very wealthy. She had a correspondence with Robert Browning, and they wanted to get married, but her father would not permit it, so they eloped. They ran away and got married and went to live in Italy, where she spent the rest of her life. So, The Mask. What's this about? This is about Victorian society. This is about obeying the social norms of the time. This is of always having a smile on your face and a joke for everyone and being happy, and the importance of maintaining this mask, maintaining this smile. And this was particularly so for women who had to show emotional restraint, who had to always appear happy and upbeat, and they could never show their emotions. They had to maintain the stiff upper lip, and that's really what this is about. It's about the fact that it really hurts her to have to always be happy and smile, and this is killing her inside. This is destroying her soul. She would like to be free to actually express the emotions that she feels. I have a smiling face, she said. So my face is always smiling. I have a jest, a joke for all I meet. I have a joke for anybody I see. I have a garland for my head. So they're flowers on my head, and all of its flowers are sweet. They're always perfect. Not one sad one among them. Not one that's drooped. And so you call me gay. So here, gay, happy. In this time, gay meant happy. And so you call me happy, she said. Grief taught to me this smile, she said, and wrong did teach this jesting bold. So grief, sadness, taught her this smile, and wrong, people doing wrong things to her, wrongs to her, wronging her. This taught me to make brave jokes, to make jokes to everyone I met. And notice, wrong and grief, I think, here are personified. So grief taught me to smile at everybody, and being treated unfairly taught me to have a joke for everyone I meet. These flowers, the flowers that she wears on her head, or the flowers of her smile, the flowers of her jokes, were picked from garden beds. So they were picked from the garden while a death chime was tolled. So while the bell of a funeral was ringing, dong, 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 dong. So the flowers on her head, these are a symbol of death. These are a symbol of her death, that these smiles and jokes, this is killing her. This is her death. And what now will you say, she said. So she says, well, what do you think about that then? Yeah, this is very different. Also, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact every verse of these, it starts with every stanza starts with and ends with she said, and this gives the whole poem structure. It makes it fit very nicely into this into the way it's put together. Behind no prison-grate, she said, which slurs the sunshine half a mile, live captives uncomforted, all souls behind a smile. God's pity, let us pray, she said. So notice as well with the said, uncomforted, she said, and then mile and smile. And this also is putting together the structure with the rhyme. Behind no prison-grate. So I'm living behind, as if behind the bars of a prison, but there are no bars to this prison. The bars to this prison are social bars. Society is keeping me behind these prison bars, which slurs the sunshine half a mile. So normally to slur is where you don't speak clearly, but it means that the sunshine doesn't get through. She's in a prison of society, where the sunshine is only very distant. Live captive, so uncomforted, as souls behind a smile. So we've got this metaphor of prisoners in a jail where the sunshine never reaches, and people living in society who are behind the bars of a smile, and they are prisoners both. God's pity, let us pray. So let us pray, let us beg God to pity us, let us beg God to change this, she said. I know my face is bright, she said. So I know my face is always smiling and happy. Such brightness dying suns diffuse. So my face is bright, but this is the shining of a sun that is dying. This is not the midday shine of a powerful sun. This is a son that is dying, that this smile is killing me. This smile is killing me inside. That this is the smile of a dying son. I bear upon my forehead shed the sign of what I lose. And on my forehead you may see the frown, the sign of what I'm losing, the ending of my day, she said. So I'm losing myself. This is destroying me. It's bringing on the end of my days. That this is my destruction. This false smile. If I dared leave this smile, she said, and take a moan upon my mouth. So if I dared stop smiling, if I dared show my true emotion and take a moan, oh, on my mouth, and tie a cypress round my head. A cypress tree is the sign of death. You find cypress trees, long, tall, thin trees in churchyards. And let my tears run smooth. It were the happier way, she said. So it would be much happier if I were able to cry, if I were able to let all my tears out, to show the symbols of death. This would be a happier way. Notice it were. This is an imperfect subjunctive. It would be the happier way. But this subjunctive here is because all of this is hypothetical. It's not real. It's not going to happen. And since that must not be, she said, and there we go. But I can't take this smile off my face. Society doesn't allow it. I fain your bitter world would leave. I fain, I would prefer, I want, I desire to leave your bitter world. I wish I was dead. So, as I can't take this smile off my face, I would rather leave this world. I would rather not be part of it. How calmly, calmly smile the dead. So the dead are smiling, the dead are calm, who do not therefore grieve. The yea of heaven is yea, she said. So the dead aren't sad, the dead don't grieve, the dead don't feel any of this pain, and these souls are in heaven. But in your bitter world, she said, face joy is a costly mask to wear. So notice as well, she's always saying it's your world. It's not my world. It's your world. This is the world of men. This is the world that the world of people. And I think perhaps the world of men as well, because women were particularly straitjacketed by this idea that they mustn't show emotion. But in your bitter world, she said, face joy, the face of joy, the happy face, a costly mask to wear. It costs my soul. 'Tis bought with pangs long nourished and rounded to despair. So this face of joy, this happy face, this false happy face, is fed with feelings of pain, of feelings of sadness, and over time it leads to despair and depression. Grief's earnest makes life's play, she said. So she's saying here that earnest grief, sincere sadness is what makes us, is what is driving this play of happiness. So the reality of being incredibly sad is what drives this society's idea of pretending to be happy, of pretending. Ye weep for those who weep, she said. So do you cry for people who are crying? Ah, fools, I bid you pass them by. Forget about the people who are crying because they're upset. Yeah, if people are crying because they're upset, they're lucky. They're venting their emotions. They're letting them out. So don't feel sorry for them. That's good. Go weep for those whose hearts have bled, what time their eyes were dry. So cry for, feel sad for people whose hearts are bleeding, but they're not crying, but they're not allowed to cry, who keep their eyes dry, they're not crying. Whom sadder can I say, she said. So what could be sadder than somebody who is really, really unhappy, whose heart is bleeding, but they're not allowed to cry? And that's much sadder than somebody who's actually crying. If somebody's crying, then at least they're releasing their emotions. But somebody who's not is jailed, is imprisoned by these rules of society, which is the saddest thing in the world. So, The Mask by Elizabeth Barrett Browning.